I don't do dead-on impressions, but I can.
From Interior Alaska.
Flint Hills Resources Alaska announced yesterday it would.
They had mentioned over the years that
certainly it's going to affect Golden Valley. We purchase our fuel from Flint Hills that we operate our gas.
Obviously, we'll raise class size, and for those 50 to.
By looking at the information they provided in their booking record, we can then.
This year we have our keynote speaker is from
Soldiers with 152 AV.
From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, Governor Sean Parnell says the negative impacts of the closure of the Flint Hills refinery at North Pole will be felt across the state, and that the State Department of Labor will work to help those who lose their jobs.
That's right. Now, News Center 11's Monty Bowen has more on that in this report.
Flint Hills Resources Alaska announced yesterday it would cease crude oil processing at the North Pole refinery in the next few months.
We'll shut down gasoline production May 1 and the rest of our production of jet fuel and heating fuel by June 1. We'll convert to a terminal-only operation where we bring product in from other sources by rail and by truck and distribute it through our truck rack here in the Fairbanks area to supply fuel needs locally.
Flint Hills has 126 people on the payroll at the refinery at North Pole right now. They will keep 35 of them there to run the terminal. Company officials said that North Pole residents who live in the area affected by the sulfolane contamination will continue to be protected.
On-site, as well as serving those property owners impacted by sulfolane, it's migrated off-site.
Jeff Cook has been with Flint Hills for 10 years and with the other operators of the refinery for 10 years prior to that.
I could say without a doubt Flint Hills is the best company I've ever worked for. They're focused on employees, employee empowerment, and innovation. I'm proud to work for the company. They're just an outstanding company, and I'm sorry we're not going to be able to fully operate this facility.
Company officials say employees not retained for Alaska Terminal Services will be encouraged to apply for positions at other company facilities located throughout the lower 48. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Officials with the DEC are expressing surprise at Flint Hills' claims that the sulfolane cleanup in North Pole is the reason for the closure. The contamination dates back to 2009 when sulfolane from the North Pole refinery was found to have seeped into groundwater. However, a full year before that, in 2008, Flint Hills said that they were, quote, reevaluating the refinery and that it could be reconfigured, upgraded, or declared a fail and sold. They also had made threats to state officials as early as 2006 to shut down if the state didn't grant them major financial concessions. The company has said that the cleanup efforts have played a major role in their decision to stop processing crude oil, but the DEC says they'll have to clean up the contamination whether or not they're open.
they had mentioned over the years that the refinery was not operating with a significant profit margin, and obviously they have some other things that make it worthwhile. But it doesn't change the fact that they will still have to help us figure out how to solve this problem and clean up the contamination so that people have safe drinking water.
Golden Valley Electric Association says they too were amongst those who found out about Flint Hills' closure yesterday afternoon. CEO Corey Borgeson said that although there were some red flags earlier in the year with Flint Hills operations, they received a phone call about an hour and a half before the press release went out to the public. GVA receives 29% of its power from oil, most of which comes directly from the Flint Hills refinery. Borgeson says members will not experience power shortages as a result of the pending closure. However, GVA cannot predict whether its prices will be affected by the change, as they are based directly on the cost of fuel.
Certainly it's going to affect Golden Valley. We purchase our fuel from Flint Hills that we operate our gas turbines on, and we're going to have to find alternative sources of fuel. Although I will say that Flint Hills has contacted us and said that They'll still be able to provide us most of our fuels because they're going to continue to provide a terminal. They just won't be refined here in North Pole. They made sure that they were a good value, but whether that included the cost of transportation or not, we'll see. But it seems logical that we would see an increase in the cost if we have to pay transportation to bring fuels into the interior of Alaska.
A Fairbanks man who is charged with a host of felony drug charges has been arraigned in Fairbanks Superior Court. John McKelvey was arraigned yesterday in front of Judge Bethany Harbison. He faces over half a dozen felony charges in the case, which stems back to the summer of 2012. Police allegedly found McKelvey with morphine, methamphetamine, and marijuana, along with a firearm. McKelvey's lawyer says that there were problems with the search warrant at the time. Trial in the case is scheduled for the end of April.
All right, when we come back, the school district is expecting some serious cuts due to budget restraints. We'll have more on that.
Also, a Fort Wainwright battalion is gearing up for another deployment. That is our military report. Those stories are next. Stay with us.
And welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. As the school district finalizes their operating budget for next school year, officials say one thing is certain: class sizes will get bigger. The school district is facing a budget cut of nearly $8 million for the 2014-2015 school years. This cut could affect between 50 to 70 teacher positions in the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District. A public meeting will be held tomorrow evening at Ryan Middle School to better inform the public on the budget issues facing the district and how this could affect their classrooms. Superintendent Pete Lewis says it will be a blow felt by all in the district.
Obviously, we'll raise class size, and for those 50 to 70 teachers that are involved, it can, it's traumatic for them, for their families, and for the other teachers that have to pick up the extra load. It makes a difference in terms of the overall quality of educational experience that we can provide. We need to continue to make sure that we have strong public schools in Fairbanks, and that's been a history and a tradition in this community, and we would like to see that continue. And unfortunately, our cuts are going to go deep, and they're going to affect the classroom, and that's a major concern for us.
Lewis also said that if the cuts do occur, it will be the largest teacher layoff he has seen in his years with the school district. He says it is important to attend the public meeting to get the most up-to-date information on the budget situation.
A new option has opened in the Fairbanks Airport for passengers to make it through security quicker. The TSA pre-check lane is now open at Fairbanks International Airport. Frequent flyers can sign up for the program, which allows them not only to wait in a shorter line, but also enables them to leave their shoes and coats on through security. Passengers in the pre-check lane can also leave laptops and liquids and gels in their carry-on bag. The program costs $85 to sign up for, which covers the cost of a background check and fingerprinting. Certain passengers may also be selected without signing up at check-in.
Looking at the information they provided in their booking record, we can then identify those who are a low risk. And we're just looking at their basic biographical information. We know that if they're going to be flying, they're going to be running against all the terror watch lists that are out there, which is part of the routine process we do for every passenger. And so we're just identifying those that we know would be eligible for the pre-check experience.
As the Arctic Winter Games approaches and we welcome more visitors to Fairbanks, local businesses may want to brush up on tourism trends and skills. The Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau will host the 7th Annual Interior Tourism Conference next Wednesday at the Westmark. The all-day event will cover a variety of topics, including social media, customer service, as well as National Park Service updates. Online registration is open to the public Monday, Friday, February 10th. For more details, contact the Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau. We posted a link on webcenter11.com.
This year we have our keynote speaker is from Seattle. His name is Stephen Gutzler, and he's coming in to do a lunchtime speech about increasing your sales through better customer service. And also after that, he's going to do a 1-hour seminar on emotional intelligence.
It takes months of training to prepare a unit to deploy overseas. Another group of soldiers stationed at Fort Wainwright are making their final preparations for deployment to Afghanistan. News Center 11's Stephanie Woodard has more now in this week's military report.
Soldiers with 152 Aviation are gearing up for an expected 9-month deployment to Afghanistan. There are certain things that the soldiers are doing to ensure months before they are prepared for the tour of duty.
We're doing SGLI, which is life insurance. We're making sure everybody's caught up to date with that. We've done some training exercises down in Fort Irwin, California at the National Training Center. And we've also done annual training exercises and field training exercises.
The aviation unit will be tasked with multiple missions while deployed.
We'll be doing general support for the ground forces down there and also for the ground force commanders and also for any wounded personnel that we have to support with the medevac birds that we have.
For many of the soldiers, this will be their first time in combat. One of those soldiers is 20-year-old Private Christopher Norwood, who enlisted, he says, due to his grandfather's tales of his time serving his country.
A little nervous, anxious, motivated, and just want to get out there and see how it is.
I asked the soldiers how they felt about gearing up to go, and the answer they gave was ready.
Yes, my family's proud. They're just a little nervous. They've seen what he went through, so they don't want the same thing.
But I feel that I'm well prepared. From my NCOs to the officers, they have prepared me very well.
Stephanie Woodard, News Center 11.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
All right, Joe Cook is next, and he brings you the latest from the Yukon Quest. But first, National Signing Day for high school football players. And North Pole will see 3 go on to the next level.
Wow, that's great. All right, stay tuned for sports. It's next.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Let's get to your Hump Day sports. Today, all across the country, high school players signed national letters of intent to play football in college at North Pole High School in the 49th state. Just that, seniors Lance Wright, Khalil Stewart, and Jordan Copeland all signed NLIs to their respective schools that represent all levels. Stewart will go to the NAIA Valley City State University in North Dakota. The Vikings were co-champions in their conference last year. Copeland will go to Division II South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. The Hard Rockers went 6-4 a year ago. Wright will be going to Division I Rice University in Houston, Texas. He verbally committed in the early period. He's their only signee out of the state of Texas and the first football recruit from Alaska. The Owls are the Conference USA champs and got to a bowl game with 10 wins. The trio talked about their signing day.
I'm really excited and I'm shaking right now. I'm all antsy, and it's crazy to actually feel like dreams are becoming reality right now, and just being able to bond together on the field. And now we're sitting here signing papers to go to college together. Not together, but going to college. It's crazy.
Lance Wright, actually, his older brother goes to school there, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity. They have a really good athletic training program. That's what I want to major in. So it'd be really nice to play football out there too. They did pretty well last year, so I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to it.
All I've been wanting since I was a kid was to play Division I football, and I mean, now I just signed the papers. It's official. I mean, being from Alaska, it's already a big accomplishment getting where I am, but I still want to do more. Like I don't want to just get to a D1. I want to play at a D1 and have an impact at a D1 college.
And last night, while you were sleeping, 3 mushers made it to the Dawson City checkpoint, but Brent Sass was the first one in, so he'll get 4 ounces of gold courtesy of Joe and Wendy Fellers from Fellhawk Placers for being the first to reach Dawson. If he completes the race, Sass came into Dawson City about 11:30 last night. He's had the lead since Tuesday morning in this race, and now for the top 3 following Sass is Alan Moore and Hugh Neff. They all arrived 2 hours after each other, so kind of close. Cody Straith is in fourth place. He's an Eagle, and rookie Matt Hall is an Eagle as well. It's his hometown, and the Rook is in 5th place. Jerry Johnson, he got another penalty. This one 2 hours for not having adequate food for a drop dog. He'll be at Dawson for 46 hours now when he arrives. The Ice Dogs will have a new look this week, and I'm not talking about the jerseys. No, it's their roster. Defenseman Ben Campbell was traded to intrastate rival Kenai for Jake Bushy of the Brown Bears. The Ice Dogs released David Kaplan, but gained Ross Olson from Springfield. Olson is listed as a 6'5" forward. Even with the new faces, the Ice Dogs don't think it'll hurt chemistry with 15 games left in the season. Fairbanks hosts the Wenatchee Wild this week in a 3-game series, which starts at the Big Dipper on Thursday. It starts a a seven-game homestand for the Ice Dogs. The Wild have a 4-3 edge, though, in the season series.
We got to keep our feet moving. That's a huge part of our game is our speed. So we need to use that to our advantage and, catch them on their heels.
We're just two teams that match up pretty well with each other. They got a strong, young core group of guys, and they all love to compete just like us, and it's just a fun time to play against them. But to be successful, I think we got to keep the game simple, get pucks low, get them past their D, and just outwork them down low.
Both UAF basketball teams will be in action this week. The men will be hosting Montana State Billings tomorrow at 7 and number 19 Seattle Pacific on Saturday. The Nanooks are third in the GNAC and 10-0 at the Patty Center. And these games could be low-scoring, grind-out games. Seattle Pacific is the top-scoring defense in the GNAC. UAF is second, and MSUB is third. The women's team, they travel to St. Martin's, then Western Oregon. The eighth-place Nanooks snapped a 5-game losing streak, the 20-point win over Central, and could be in position for the final GNAT tournament spot with 2 big wins this week. St. Martin's is in 6th place, while Western Oregon is in 9th in the standings. Last night at Hutchinson High School was the rematch between the Hawks and Patriots. Last time they played, it was an overtime thriller. North Pole won that game. The Hawks rallied from a double-digit deficit with threes from Daniel Page. He led the Hawks with 9 points, hit a 4-point play to bring the Hawks within 1. And then the Patriots answered every time down low with Khalil Stewart. He had a game-high 21 points, 17 in the second half, and 24 rebounds. A 20-20 game for him. Ryan Delore, he hit a big 3 late. He had 13, while Lance Wright protected the paint with 5 blocks. He also had a double-double with 10 and 10. North Pole holds off the Hawks on the road for a 57-49 win. Across town at Lathrop High School, the Malamutes hosted the Allison Ravens, all Lathrop in this one as they led 15-2 at the end of the first. Freshman DJ Dees for Allison was a bright spot with 14 of the Ravens' 16 points, but Lathrop cruises to an 86-13 win. Alex Jordan scored 10 points, leading 5 Malamutes with at least 7 points in the win. In the girls' game, the Malamutes won 39-34 behind Brooke Lazat's game-high 14 points. She had 11 in the second half, and Katie Browder scored 12 to lead Allison. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about weather. And right off the top, we'll say the roads out there are really nasty. Lots of reports of folks slipping and sliding. So just give yourself plenty of time to get to wherever you're going. We'll talk more weather in just a little bit. Starting off with our photograph for tonight, we're going to call this the golden tree for obvious reasons. It looks like a golden tree out there. Nice shot by Donna Ferguson. And as always, if you have a photograph to share with us, send it to photos@ktvf11.com and we'll share with the rest of the audience. Out at the airport right now, it's 10 degrees with mixed rain and snow. 13 degrees was our high today, 13 below the low last night. Record high 39, 1980, 56 below in 1968. Sunrise and sunset, more than 7.5 hours of daylight, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Got a road condition to tell you about. Expecting blizzard conditions on the Steese, Elliott, and Hall Road summit areas, the highest elevations there, north of the Fairbanks, of course, into Thursday morning and evening because of an area of low pressure that's coming down that's going to be causing that. In fact, on the satellite and radar, you can see one system moving through, another system expected to roar on down across the Brooks Range there, gather strength and become a pretty good storm in its area as it drives down toward the Gulf of Alaska. What's going on across the rest of the state today? Well, we have clear skies across much of southeast Alaska, south central sections, some fog around the Bethel area, a little light snow at Barrow, so all in all, not too bad. Lower 48 weather, lots of snow to talk about, and cold temperatures all stretching from, well, basically Arkansas all the way up to the northeast. Folks there are getting a real good dosage of winter. As you can see here, the pink indicating where the frozen precipitation is. A long line working its way across Texas now, and that's going to continue because the jet stream will continue to drive everything from the west to the east by this weekend. Very cold air just north of the lower 48. And more snow across the Great Lakes. Well, back to Alaska for tonight, and as you can see, we're looking at the northern sections for tomorrow. Snow showers for Barrow and flurries for Nome, and scattered snow showers in the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, periods of snow over the entire region with 2 to 4 inches possible at all 3 locations. Over southeast Alaska, looking at, for the most part, windy conditions for Juneau and sunny skies at Ketchikan. While out to the southwest, it'll be cloudy at Cold Bay and Bethel, scattered clouds for Kodiak Island. And over the south central regions, we're looking at mostly sunny skies for Anchorage and Homer, and sunny skies for Valdez. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. And of course, we've been talking with the kids from Nordale this week. Here's the teacher with an interesting weather fact.
Hi, my name is Betty Platt, and I'm in Miss Torgerson's 4-5 class of Nordale Elementary. And my weather question is, has there been any tornadoes in Alaska, and if not, why?
Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. The teacher's going to be here tomorrow night. But as far as your question is concerned about tornadoes, yes, Alaska, along with the other 50 or 49 states, as I say, does have tornadoes. We've had small-scale tornadoes, but just enough to pick up things and throw them around, so they're classified as tornadoes. Okay, and like I said, tomorrow night we'll have the teacher here with an interesting weather fact, and we'll all look forward to that. Oh, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 4 degrees below zero, cloudy skies, an occasional snow shower is not out of the question. And tomorrow's forecast, periods of snow becoming partly cloudy by evening with 2 to 4 inches expected, and the extended forecast calling for the cold air to move back in over the weekend. As you can see, overnight lows dropping down to 20 to 25 below for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Daytime highs will continue right around 5 degrees below zero each day. And all in all, like I said before, the roads out there are really nasty. I know I was slipping and sliding all over the place today. How about you guys?
Yeah, I was too.
A little bit, but I think Joe's more...
yeah, I can't help but gasp
Joe, that
at the
is
temperature.
nothing.
And I was like, oh, God, it's bad.
That is nothing.
All right, we have run out of time, so that'll do it from all of us here at the News Center. We hope you have a great evening. See you back here at 11.
Good night.